Hi, my name is Amber. Welcome back to my channel, Books and Beaches. So it's super hard to believe, but it is already time to start talking about September's new releases. And it pains me to say that because I am not ready for September to be here. I'm not ready to go back to school. I've really been enjoying this summer, but that is just what happens, and that's all right. Now, I'm also really excited because my collaboration with Javi is still going on, and they just sent me a new flavor to try, and it is so good. So I had to tell you guys about it. This is their iced vanilla cream drizzle flavor. If you like flavored coffee, this is amazing. I put a little French vanilla creamer on top of it, and it's still so good. So I always leave my code in the description box below. I believe that'll get you 20% off your first order. It's using code Books and Beaches or using the link, and I'm loving Javi. It has been such a great addition to being able to have coffee while I travel this summer, and it's just super easy. So if you want to check that out, the link is always below. But otherwise, let's jump in to September's new releases. Now, September, I would say, is the very first month this year that I am not as excited about the books coming out. There are still some good books coming out, don't get me wrong, but it is nowhere near the big month that some of the other months have been this year. But that's okay. Sometimes it is okay to just slow down and enjoy the moment. So let's take a look at what I found out, or what I'm looking forward to coming out in September. So starting on September 5th, the very first book that we have is Main Character Energy, and that's by Jamie Varon. I believe I got this one via NetGalley. I need to look into it more. But I think the reason why when I got sent the link on NetGalley for this one, I kind of had me hooked because I believe it is a plus size main character, which I quite appreciate. So it says, Poppy Banks would rather be writing mysteries than writing listicles for her dead-end job at ThoughtBuzz. But after a series of rejections, she's ready to accept life on the sidelines as a plus-size woman. Her Aunt Margot is the one person unwilling to give up on her niece's dreams and tells her so at their secret yearly lunches. But it says all of her beliefs about herself are challenged when her aunt dies and leaves her a surprise, which is a trip to a villa in the French Riviera. I don't want to learn too much more. I kind of want to go into it a little bit blind, so to say, but it looks like it's going to be really cute, and I need to pick that one up sooner than later. Also coming out on September 5th is The Long Game by Elena Armas. Now, I don't believe I read her release last year, but, and of course I don't know where it is. I did read one of her other books. It was either last summer or 2 summers ago for book club, and that was The Spanish Love Deception, and surprisingly I liked it, which was not normal for me and probably shocking to most of my book club, but it reminded me of the movie The Wedding Date, and I liked it. So this one is called The Long Game, and it says a disgraced soccer exec reluctantly enlists the help of a retired soccer star in coaching a children's team in this small town love story. And they're comparing it to Ted Lasso and It Happened One Summer. So now I have not finished watching Ted Lasso, so no spoilers please, but I do enjoy that show, so I'll be curious about this one. And like I said, I did like the first one at first that I read, so. Also coming out on September 5th is Suddenly a Murder by Lauren Munoz. And I believe, if I'm remembering right from my research, I think this one's going to be YA, but more on the thriller side. And it says 7 friends throw a 1920s themed party where it's all pretend until one of them is murdered. So, and it was compared to One of Us is Lying, which I just finished that trilogy, really liked it, meets Knives Out, which admittedly I've never seen, in this glamorous locked room mystery. So, sounded good, put it on my list, and who knows, we'll see if I pick it up. And then finally coming out on September 5th, and this one's a little outside my comfort zone. This is Holly by Stephen King. Now, I have never read anything by Stephen King. I know, it's crazy. I think I've always just been super intimidated and maybe a little fearful of some of his books. Like, you're probably never gonna catch me reading or watching it. Just not, clowns, not my vibe, but I have considered picking up other things. So if you do have a Stephen King suggestion on what maybe I should start with as a beginner, let me know below. But this one, I believe they've been saying this is a character coming back from one of his previous stories, but it says Holly Gibney, one of Stephen King's most compelling and ingenuously resourceful characters, returns in this thrilling novel to solve the gruesome truth behind multiple disappearances in a Midwest town. So, I live in the Midwest, kind of caught my eye there, but like I said, I've never read a Stephen King, so maybe you can give me suggestions on what to start with below before I pick one of his new ones up. All right, next coming out on September 12th is This Is How We End Things by R.J. Jacobs. And now I'm trying to remember if this one, I don't know if this one is YA or not. It says a captivating exploration into the psychology of lying and high-stakes dark academia thriller full of twists and secrets. All you gotta do is say dark academia. I can't wait. I actually have a whole dark academia playlist based on suggestions that Audrey at Chapter and Verse has given us. Yes, I know, I talk about her all the time, but ooh, and I love when I see this in the description. Riley Sager meets If We Were Villains. So I don't believe I've read If We Were Villains, but we all know I love some Riley Sager. So it's following a cohort of graduate students studying the psychology of lying until one of them is discovered dead. But how do you catch a killer who may be an expert in the science of deception? It actually sounds really, really good. So that one might have to be a pre-order. We shall see. Now, I couldn't find anything that was coming out on September 19th. Not to say that there isn't anything releasing that day, just nothing that caught my eye. And quite honestly, I don't know, I just didn't find much. But I did find things coming out on the final day of September releases, and that will be September 26th. The first being The Wake Up Call by Beth O'Leary. Now, I have read books by Beth O'Leary before, and I know I have a few back here on my shelves, probably still to read, but this will be her newest one, obviously. Like I said, called The Wake Up Call, and it says two hotel receptionists, which, fun fact, I used to be a hotel receptionist at one point in my life, and arch rivals find a collection of old wedding rings and compete to return them to their owners, discovering their own love story along the way. So, could be a kind of a unique thing, and like I said, I have that little bit of a connection to being a hotel receptionist. Very interesting job. So, that'll be coming out on the 26th. Also coming out on the 26th, The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. Now, the only book by V.E. Schwab that I have read is Addie LaRue. So I have not read any of, I want to say this is like fantasy, maybe. Let's read and find out so I'm not telling you wrong. This says the author is opening another door to a new fantasy series set in the dazzling world of Shades of Magic. Okay, so it looks like, it says, once there were 4 worlds, nestled like pages in a book, each pulsing with fantastical power and connected by a single city, London, until the magic grew too fast and forced the worlds to seal the doors between them in a desperate gamble to protect their own. The few magicians who could still open the doors grew more and more rare as time passed, and now only 3 of, I believe it's Antari, are known in recent memory. So, and then it lists them. So this could be a really interesting fantastical novel. Like I said, I really enjoyed Addie LaRue. Excuse me, but I'm not sure if this one will be for me or not, but I know since V. Schwab is such a popular author, I had to include this one. And then finally, the last book that I found coming out in September that was interesting to me, or I thought would be good for my audience, is The Sun by Elena Wilkes. And actually, this one's getting released on the 27th. I believe it's an independent release. But it says it's the completely gripping psychological thriller with a shocking twist. I mean, hello, doesn't that sound amazing? For those of us that are thriller readers, at least. It says, your perfect child isn't so perfect anymore. From the outside, my life appears normal, boring even, but in that way you treasure when you once had nothing. These days, I have a loving new husband and a polite, intelligent teenage son. Everything seems perfect, but underneath the surface, I feel afraid. sounded great when I saw it. I think I peeked this one on NetGalley. I haven't requested it or anything, but it just looked like one that could be super interesting. So like I said, that one actually comes out on the 27th because I think it's an indie release. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that one. So those are all of the books that I found interesting that are coming out in the month of September. If there are other ones, please let us know in the comments below. I never want to miss something that I could put on my list to look forward to in that next coming month. So as always, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.